Welcome in, y'all. Cobble Cowboy here. It's been a cool minute since I put out any kind of content. I appreciate you guys checking out this video. I will be trying to put out a new Fallout 76 guide every week for the foreseeable future. So, if you enjoy what you see, please hit that sub button. It helps me out tremendously. I'm hoping to get monetized, maybe pay some bills by playing some games. Hit that like button, comment, let me know what you guys want to see next. Let me know your thoughts on the build. Let me know if you try it and you like it. This has kind of been a long-awaited build. I've been teasing it in the In Other Worlds community for the last 2-3 weeks. I finally feel like I have it kind of min-maxed, as you guys can see in these clips. We are absolutely deleting nuke bosses. I didn't really have time to post any clips of it in the intro, but this thing shreds any event. It's one-shot in all the gulpers and jamborees. It's got enough AoE and splash damage that you can easily solo high density events like Radiation Rumble. It's got two weak points. Number one, you can accidentally blow yourself up if you're not paying attention, but what's a little it's high reward. There's a little risk to it, so it's fine. And the other downside being ENO6 is actually explosive immune, but we'll compensate with that more when we get into the build. We have an alternative weapon for that fight, and we're just going to adapt and overcome there. But everything else, guys, I feel like this build outperforms a majority of the higher damage. I feel like it's up there with the Elder Marks right now, honestly. Elder Marks, it might surpass the Mini Gauze. We're cranking. So let's go ahead and get into it, guys. First, we're going to check out perk cards. Then we're going to check out weapons, armor, consumables, mutations, in that order or something like that. I'll link timestamps, but I want to make this no nonsense, so I've killed enough time. But legendary perk cards, guys. I recommend you get intelligence, luck, endurance, charisma, and strength. Charisma being kind of a flex spot. You go somewhere else here, but that's just what I got right now. Now, I do recommend if you're a newer player, grab all of these as a 2-star before you try to level them up to 3 or higher. You should max this one out, taking for the team, before you do anything else, in my opinion. But that's just me. That 40% scales really, really, really high. Now, I'm going to go over these and just talk priority on them. So pretty much everything in strength is kind of a flex, quality of life for me. If you don't have that many points, you really shouldn't be rocking all these cards right here. But Wound Salter, I do absolutely recommend. I share this card for any fight that can be bled. We'll talk more about that when we get into the weapons, but trust, it's a good card to have if you use a harpoon gun just for a 15-second bleed buff. You're going to help your whole team out with that. So, Wound Salter is very important. Bandolier is a must-have. Strong back is nice. Everything else is just quality of life. Barbarian as well, actually. You should probably get this one. If you don't know how the deflect damage scaling works, basically, if you're in PA, you reflect, I think, 2 times the damage you would have received back to the target. But that scales up off of thresholds further based off of your DR and your ER. So free DR, take it. Number Cruncher, necessity. Tormentor, very good to have. Fast Fighter, a necessity. Our movement speed is going to scale our reload speed. That's going to help us get more shots off in a fight, which drastically increases our damage. So reload speed, very high on our list of priorities, which is also cool because then we get to move faster because PA is kind of clunky. Grenader, guys, if you're killing yourself a lot in the fight, just accidentally blowing yourself up, first thing you should do is put some more distance between you and your target. Broadsider has a ton of range, but if you're still struggling or for whatever reason, just take Grenader off, just land your shots, you should be fine. I would replace that with, what is it called? Refractor right here. And that'll give you more ER for your reflex scaling. Deal Sealer, hopefully you have a support build in your team, somebody providing cryo for the snake or cryo for whatever boss you're doing. Maybe there's somebody using a flamer in your team, whatever, right? It's just free damage you're leaving on the table if you don't have this perk card. And we don't need a lot of perk cards for this build, so take the extra damage if you can. Radical, quality of life, you don't need it. You can go something else like Vaccinated here. That'll decrease your disease frequency, but I like Radical just for the extra carry weight. Starch Genes is base kit. If you're not using this, you're throwing. Life Giver, you have to have it. Ironclad, March 3rd, Ironclad is going to be a necessity. You could probably get around with like a 1-star for right now, but I highly recommend you just take the 3. Like, you should have all these perks. These are all necessities in my opinion. Iron Stomach is just free DR, ER, Chem Fiend. So we stay eating Psycho buff. You're going to want to have this. Just going to up the duration. It also stacks with the couch that we just got from the Love event thingy, Mobobber. So make sure you're stacking that buff on top of this. Natural Resistance helps with the snake, poison, all the elemental damage in the game, so forth. Kind of a necessity for the raid. Not so much of a necessity outside of the raid. Bullet Shield. This is actually a really big defensive card for us. So Deflect, it increases our damage done, which is cool, but it also decreases the damage we would have taken from that hit by a very large mitigation. Highly recommend taking it. Rejuvenated, don't go with the 2-star, only go with the 1-star. We have a lot of rads so that we can benefit from Nerd Rage's 41% increased damage. So no point in doing the 2-star because it'll disable. But this just gives us more flat health increase, which is sick. Strange in Numbers, absolute goated baseline perk. Squad Maneuvers, this is going to give us movement speed, so that helps us out with reload and getting around. Bodyguards, this perk card is kind of a flex card. You don't need to run it, but I like to have 9 charisma so I can share Wound Salter and then like other important 3-star perks, or really whatever perk I want to run at the time. But yeah, Bodyguard is a flex spot. If your teammates are dying a lot, Healing Hands stacks with EMT. Little known fact, you can share EMT in the raid. EMT will save your homies from Mole Miner punches if it's not on cooldown. It does have a 3-minute cooldown. You can share it. That's going to put, everybody in your team having this card, which means you've got 4 cards, 4 extra lives. So do with that what you will. Hopefully it doesn't get patched. But it's been like this since the raid came out, so, use it. Just OG game knowledge, I guess. I don't know. Team Medic. I really like sharing this one in the Ultrasight Horde. You kind of have your team stacked up, rolling around. It just keeps everybody on their like full health. It's easy peasy. Good Basalt's base kit. You don't want to be farming food every 10 minutes, so use it. Nerd Rage, free damage. That's why our health is so low. Just to capitalize on this, it's 41% as of right now. Might go up with the next patch, might go down. We don't really know yet. Demolition Expert, necessity. Curator, you can switch this out for First Aid. First Aid is going to give you more healing from stim packs. Curator, I just use this when I'm about to pop a bobblehead. I use the explosive bobbleheads or the heavy weapon bobbleheads. They both work very well. Gunsmith, it'll make sense when you see our Broadsider mods, but we're using Polished, so anything we can do to slow down the weapon break. I will be leveling this up more when I get more legendary perk points. Born Survivor, it's going to help you when you ADHD or like hyper focus on something and like not dying to the Mole Miner or Ultrasight Horde. You're not watching your health and then you creep down and die to poison. This should help you not have that happen. Gunrunner is going to increase our reload speed and our movement, so that's sick. And then Adrenaline. Adrenaline is really only good in open world. So when I'm doing the raid, I will swap Adrenaline out for Dodgy, and that'll just make me a little bit tankier. We don't really care about AP. There is kind of an exploit you can do if you're an absolute like Giga gamer, where you can run Gun Fu, and basically like say you're on the Serpent, you can when the tentacle comes up, the tail you want to one-shot it. You just VATS that, but make sure that the snake is in your line of sight, and it'll kind of kick over, and you'll get this 90% increased damage scaling on all of your shots going forward until you run out of AP. So just eat a ton of coffee. Broadsider's not really AP crazy gun. Kind of exploit, kind of not. It's just one of those things like you got to really try hard to make it happen. Anyways, moving on to luck. Class Freak, goated. You got to have it. It's base kit. Ricochet, also base kit. We don't really have that much luck, so I would like to get my luck up a little bit more if I can figure out a way to do that other than like drugs. But Junk Shield, this is 120 free DR and ER. So, absolutely keep this on you. And to get the max value out of this, you can dump your scrap every fight. Just keep 100 wood scrap on you. And it weighs like 4 pounds. And you'll benefit from this in its entirety. And this is kind of the bread and butter of this, guys. When quick hands procs, our DPS in a fight like exponentially increases. It's almost to the point where I'm considering going Wild West hands. I'm considering going Ghoul just to use this perk, because quick hands has really put me on to, like, it would be insane. I just don't know if I want to lose all of my... We got to rework the build. I'll probably put a Ghoul build out, a Ghoul variant of this in the nearby future. That's going to be my next character that I make. But anyways, let's go ahead and talk about weapons really quickly. So I use a harpoon gun. This one specifically is cursed. You get this from Earl. You don't have to use a cursed one. That's just me. But just put one on. Get the bleed from this. This is 15 seconds of bleed right here. That is going to give your whole team 30% extra damage. Technically 40 if they all have Wound Salter and Deal Sealer, because it'll trigger 10% from Deal Sealer as well. And that's going to be, again, a 40% damage buff for your team. Just keep that buff up on bosses that can bleed. So like in the raid, that's going to be the Epsilon Squad and the Snake boss. Now, Grand Finale is a fantastic starter weapon if you're just looking to get into this build really quick, you're brand new to the game. I can't remember what event this comes from. I got this a long time ago out of a player vendor, but it either comes from the Nuke boss in the Nuka World, or it comes from one of the Nuka World events. Google it. But if you want to make your own Broadsider, because you can't tweak the mods on that one, you should do a two-shotted, because this is the best 1-star. Explosive or Hitman. I like Explosive, that way I don't have to aim, and then I can kind of do the VATS cheese that I was mentioning. Reload speed, and then Polished. And Polished is phenomenal. You just kind of got to be quick on the repair kits. Make sure you keep it at 100% or higher. Now, let's go ahead and drop the PA, and I will show you guys what I'm rocking here. Can we do this bench from there? Sick. All right. And we'll knock this out real quick, and I'm trying to keep the video under 15. So, all right. So, bolstering is going to be the 1-star I put on everything, guys. Right now, it just gives a flat ER/DR buff when our health is low. I don't care about that. Next update, that's going to be a percentage mitigation, like Overeaters is, and that's why we're rocking this. So I'm already ready for March 3rd or whatever this update comes out for. Now we are using, if you look at our 2-stars, we have 3 endurance and 2 luck. That way we can keep our deflect chance high enough that we're still getting all that mitigation, but also endurance to keep our HP pool as large as we can, because, you know, when you're rocking only 20% of HP pool, it's pretty easy to die to stupid little one-shots in here and there. The larger the HP pool, the more reaction time we have, the less we get one-shotted, and so forth. So that's why I went with that. 3-star through hikers on everything. You probably do 4 through hikers and like 1, whatever you want to do, sentinels or something, but I find I move around too much for sentinels, so, you know, do with that what you will. And then for our 4-star guys, I just went with a ranger. A good alternative to Ranger is Aegis. Aegis absolutely kicks butt, helps your team clear so easy. But important mods for the actual armor itself, guys. Emergency Protocol is really like the bread and butter of what lets us get that nerd rage. Now, if you don't have Emergency Protocol, I would just not worry about the nerd rage part of stuff. Maybe go with like a medic pump or something. Whatever you do have, or just use like T51B, because that has really high resistances as well. Go from there. I have calibrated shocks. Now I do run in PA. There is a trick to running in PA. Use the recon sensors. These track targets, as you can see. Aim at the mole miners, and then that's gonna put a little diamond over their head, and you can see where they are in the tunnels and just completely avoid them. Very nice. And if you are going to be running in PA, again, I use calibrated shocks, but you could also use the overdrive servos, and this will give you more sprint speed, which is pretty kosher. Doesn't matter what mod you use on the arms, but I like the gimbal bracers because it gives a little bit more hipfire accuracy, 30% for both bracers total. And that's that for that. Now, I do really quickly want to touch on the other weapon that I forgot to mention. So we have been using the Quad Dragon. This is the rollout I use to do ENO6. Now, this absolutely pumps the crap out of his shields. We don't really pump huge damage once his shields break, so you kind of need to let your team carry you through that fight, but you're going to carry them through the rest of the raid. So Fair trade-off in my opinion. But again, if you have a whole team using this build and everybody's got the dragons and you guys are just big pumping, like, it ain't nothing but a thing. You'll be fine. So that is that for the weapons and armor. Sorry, I forgot to mention that dragon until now. Now let's quickly talk about food buffs. Most important being, so there's Tato Juice. This is not the most important. This just gives max AP. The most important, in my opinion, is going to be the, where is it? Silt Bean Soup. This is going to give us +5 endurance in a public team. Scrolling. Brain Fungus Soup gives us, that's just going to give us more levels quickly. Always very nice. And then I use Cranberry Relish for, again, additional XP. It's going to give you 25% additional XP in public teams if you're herbivore. I do recommend herbivore. Now for our aid guys, Psycho Buff is the way to go. I stay injecting this into myself. 25% damage increase. We don't care about the strength buff, but 3 endurance and 65 max health is too much survivability to pass up on. So free damage, free tankiness. This needs to be 100% uptime. I am over the 15-minute mark, so I do apologize. That's really it. Berry Mentats for just extra XP. Now let's quickly look at the, I'll show you guys my special. Now keep in mind, special goes higher when I'm in a public team because I have herd mentality and such for my mutations, so this will all go up more, but 22 luck, and, oh, actually that's because I'm not in my PA. Shoot, let's show you that, because that's important to compare yourself to in the PA. This is a PA build. I forgot I'm using Unyielding, so that's why my stats look so good there. That's actually probably what it should look like, because when herd mentality kicks in and such, but yeah, this is what I got right now. So I know my luck goes up to like 16. That's kind of the threshold you want to shoot for. 16 luck and as much endurance as you can really get after that. Nobody really cares about the rest of these. But yeah, let's see here. Mutations. I don't bother resetting all my mutations when I switch my special setups, so I do have some weird stuff like Adrenal Reaction. I would probably take this off if I'm min-maxing just for the extra HP. Excuse me. Eagle Eyes, again, kind of a useless one. I don't know why we have it, but I didn't reset my mutes, so it's fine. Egghead, free XP. Empath, I wish more people would run Empath. Yes, you take 6% more damage, but if at least like you and somebody else in your team has Empath, then you both are actually just really getting like what, plus 19% damage mitigation. So everybody should be running Empath. If you don't run Empath, you're, I don't know, selfish. Herbivore, guess what's up? Use Herbivore, especially if you're using an energy build. I can't stand seeing carnivore energy builds. It hurts my feelings. Herb Mentality, Marsupial, Speed Demon. Speed Demon is a must-have. It gives us movement speed and reload speed. The Hunger Thirst Management sucks, but just chew some bubblegum. Alright, so I think that's it. Yeah, look at that Life Giver, guys. That's such a fat HP bonus. And this is pre-buff. And then there's that Nerd Rage, just to show you guys, 41% increased damage. It is worth running the Bloodied build. And Emergency Protocol makes us so tanky in that 20% HP threshold that, like, it's basically like we're just a squishier full HP build. I don't know how to really articulate that, but good luck, have fun, guys. I don't want to carry this out any longer than I have to. It's 18 minutes, 30 seconds already. Let me know what you guys want to see next. Please, again, like and subscribe. And once more, huge shout out to the In Other Worlds community. It helped me out a lot with mods and such, and everybody's been so cool, and it's been nice to run raids with everybody. So, GG's, have fun.